Hello, this is Kareem from VintageJewelryTrade.com. A lot of you have asked, what do we do with our broken or scrap gold and silver? Well, we actually try not to melt down any pieces that are intact. We're passionate about preserving the history and artistry behind vintage and antique jewelry. But we do get quite a bit of broken jewelry in, and stuff that has imperfections that would otherwise cost more to repair than what the piece is worth. So what we do is we melt those down into bars, and you guys wanted to see how the melting process works. Well, I'm here to show you how that is today. Starting out with gold jewelry. This is all broken, missing stones, pieces that are beyond repair. And we got quite a bit of it here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a pre-weight so that we know how much the jewelry weighs before the melt, because anytime you melt, you're gonna lose a little bit of weight. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just throw the bag on the scale so I can tar that out. So that's at 0. And then we'll throw our scrap gold onto the scale. And we have here 185 grams, it looks like. Oh no, I'm sorry, 196.07 grams today to start. So this will be our pre-weight. We're gonna see how much gold we've lost after the melt. And here we go. Let's get to melting. So first things first, this is an oxygen acetylene torch. Burns at over 5,000 degrees. We have a brand new crucible we're going to use for this melt. What I'm doing is I'm starting with borax in the melt. Borax is a detergent that when heated turns to almost like a glass-like substance. And what that does is it coats the crucible, allows it to get to a hotter temperature without cracking, and then also helps the gold move around so that you can mix it properly and get a nice even melt. So first thing we're going to do is put on our safety glasses. Again, this torch burns at over 5,000 degrees, so without glasses, it could blind me. The next thing I'm going to do is just fire up this torch, and we're going to season the crucible with the borax. So now that we got a nice even season with the borax, we are ready to add the gold. So I'm just going to let that cool, and then in about 5-6 minutes, once it's cooled down a little bit, the borax will crystallize and turn into like a glass-like substance. And then we'll add our 196 grams of gold, melt our bar, weigh out the bar, see exactly what it weighs, and then I'll let you know what the value of the approximate value of that bar is. So we have our crucible still hot but cooled down a little bit, so the borax is crystallized. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a tiny bit of borax on top. That's just to help the gold move while I'm melting. This is a mixture of 10, 14, and a little bit of 18 karat gold. So I estimate that this bar, once melted, will probably test at somewhere between 47 and 55%. So we can guesstimate how much this bar will be worth based on those percentage ranges. But I'll upload another video of me actually testing the bar with XRF and let you guys know the exact percentage. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to melt this gold down. I'm going to heat up this crucible. Once I get it nice and liquid, mix up the gold. and then I'm going to pour it right into this crucible. Then we're going to douse it in a bucket of water I have over here. I'll try to move the phone so you guys can see that process, and we'll get started on this. So now we have the bar. We're going to let it cool for a second. As soon as it's cooled, then I'll crack it out of the mold. We'll drop it in the water and see what we got. Make sure I got a good grip on it. See here? Just drop that right in the water. The borax that's on there, some of it will crack off, the rest will break off with a hammer later. And once the bar is cooled, and we'll get our final weight. So now that bar that's in the water, it's cold to the touch now. And this is what we end up with. Let's crack this, weigh and see what we got. All right, here's our final weight for this bar. And we have 194.04 grams. So we lost about 2 grams there. That's common with melting gold. The reason being is because there's a lot of filler in some of the O-rings. You have stainless steel that gets stuck in the borax, the stainless steel in the O-rings, stuff like that. There's stuff that's not necessarily gold, even though it's stamped 14 karat or 10 karat gold. But you'll always lose a couple grams when you do a melt like that. So there we have it. We got our gold bar. I'm estimating this is going to be about 50% gold, 12 karat gold. It'll probably be, somewhere in that range. Like I said, 47 to 54. Any percent we get above 50 is going to be a win, because when you have this much gold, 1% will add up quite a bit. This particular bar at today's gold price is worth just over $10,000. It's $10,030 if it tests at 50%. So we'll go. We'll go hit this with the XRF gun, and we'll see exactly what it tests at. I'll post a video of that, and yeah. If it tests up 50% or above, we have above 10 grand here. Here we go. Here is the XRF result. As you can see, I was spot on. This bar tested at 50.11%, leaving us with 10K in gold.